All right, guys. So, I just want to remind you of how evil this Pure Life Ministries place is that I went to. So, my counselor never even talked with me about how much money I had, my debt, any of these things, right? Now, out of my poverty and debt, so basically when I had nothing, I decided to help this other student who was Mexican guy, and basically cover something for him. And I guess they just, I don't know, let me do that. But somehow my counselor knew about it, like heard about it or something. And then he like looked at me one time, and he didn't refer to specifically what it was, but he's just like, "Oh, make sure you keep on doing what you're doing. Keep giving." It's like, well, first of all, to physically be able to do something, you have to have like enough like funds in an account. That's just basic common sense, I figured, right? I don't know, maybe common sense doesn't apply here. But yeah, it was so weird because it's like he acted like my default was not to give and to be selfish, like by default, and that I was like learning for the first time in my entire life to like give to someone else. And I'm like, this ultra rich person or something, this guy. I don't know if that's what he was thinking though, because he would never actually say these things. He would just treat me like according to these ways, and he would always like imply, like it was always like a secret, if that makes sense. Like he would never say like, "Hey, you seem like you're hiding a secret from me and you're not telling me." No, he would like whisper in my ear and like act like and say like, "This is why you didn't graduate or whatever," but not tell me explicitly why. So it's like I had nothing to do, right? So um sometimes you can be willing to just help someone, be kind, give to someone. And when you ask that person years later, "Hey, can you just give a phone call to my friend? Tell him, hey, be thankful. Don't be selfish. Work hard for what you have and give to others. But don't try to kill the person who's giving to you, right?" And when you call that person and you ask them, "Hey, can you do that?" And they say, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like we're in the same situation." It's just like, okay, but I was willing to give to you when there was no like indicators or anything. It was just off the cuff, right? So I'm just glad that someday God's going to judge all this and he's going to set all this straight, because we have these wicked people that act like they're on the side of righteousness. They act like they're so cool, and then they act like they know what's going on. Like they know who's good and who's evil, who's a taker and who's a giver and all this stuff. And they judge you and they stay and they look you down, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, there's just some people who just take all the time." And it doesn't matter if you've given up every single summer and then were falsely accused, and then, just to give your life to other people. It doesn't matter. They'll still say that you're the one who's selfish, right? And then the other way around, you know, they'll look at someone who's does nothing but take, and then they'll think like they'll just hear something a certain way and they'll be like, "Oh, I like his attitude." And they'll act like they're, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with that guy. He's perfect." Um so yeah, I just wanted to point out just how evil this place was, cuz they never like the most evil thing seems to be, it's the same with the guys who shot Charlie Kirk. Like that's leftist political, right? But this is the way people will act on in other situations, regardless of that side of politics. It's people who they don't explicitly say, like they can't win the actual argument against you, and they don't even believe that they're supposed to have a debate or an argument. They just think that they're right, and then they manipulate and do everything they can to attack, and they think that it's like right somehow. They think that they're doing the right thing when they're attacking you somehow, even if it's not murdering, but if it's like something that like, you know, it attacks your reputation or it messes with your mind or anything like that. They feel like it's okay. They're like, oh yeah. I guess they'll use the word deserve because I don't know, but yeah, that's how these people think. They think like, oh, I saw this. Here's the evidence of this. So I'm going to act on it like this. And I'm not going to talk to the person about it and ask them, do you think this is a good decision for me to make? No, because I'm in a position of authority. So I get to make a decision about your life, but I don't get to talk with you about it and find out like if it's actually a good decision, if it makes sense. You know, I'm not going to actually put my reasoning for why I'm putting these restrictions or these rules on you. I'm not going to explain that and then say, does that sound like a good idea? And give you an option to defend yourself. I'm just going to put those rules out there and force you to follow them because in my mind, I'm just right? So that's how these counselors think, or at least the counselor that I had.